Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nobody Ask Me Guys show. Guys, listen, I'm your host, Melvin Casey Lars, and we have with us this evening a dynamic personality. You know, and people, we don't throw around the word legendary all the time, but let's just break this whole thing down. As we speak with Brother Johnny Robinson of Louisiana Tech University and of my favorite silver and black, the Oakland Raiders, we're going to be talking to a legend. Now, listen, we have titled this thing, Who is Johnny Robinson? So we're going to be talking about Johnny Robinson, the person, Johnny Robinson, the athlete, and what's I feel is very appropriate. You know, it's the NFL Hall of Fame time, and people are talking about Hall of Fames everywhere you go, and you have so many legendary human beings and so many legendary athletes. And many times we never get to talk to the human being. We never get to understand things about the Hall of Fame. Now, we know, with me being a Louisiana Tech University Bulldog myself, we know that Johnny is going to be getting that call to be going into that Louisiana Tech University Hall of Fame. We know that Johnny is going to be getting that call to be going to the NCAA Hall of Fame. We know these things, and we know there are other Hall of Fames out there that Johnny is worthy of being in. So we're going to be just talking about life with Brother Johnny. You know, we at the back during the time Johnny was playing, Tech was in the Southern Conference. As you know, they're no longer in that conference. So we'll be talking about that, the accolades and the things that he's been able and God has blessed him to accomplish. We'll be talking about his Super Bowl run with the Raiders, and I laugh about that all the time. I tell people that my luck didn't run that smoothly, so I'm just happy for Johnny. I've always been a Raider fan and had the opportunity to do a little free agency stuff there. And we all know Johnny, when there's guys like Johnny, and if they say free agent when they're drafted, that means you're a real free agent. But then you have guys that go to camp. You're not really a real free agent, but that's the title you're given. So the old guys like me understand that well. So listen, we're glad to have you here. We know there are a lot of guests here. We always have a lot of young people, guys, and you know how we roll on this show. You guys can come on and ask questions, so feel free to pop in. You put your questions in the chat box if you don't want to come on. But Mr. Johnny Robinson, how are you this evening, sir?
Oh, man, couldn't be no better. Could be no better, man. I'm blessed.
Well, listen, you know, with you being blessed, we are happy to know that you are a man of God, number one. And if people have problems with that, you know, then we don't give a disclaimer. Everybody is entitled to believe what they like. So we don't give any disclaimer about that. Happy that you're a man of God. So listen, let's just jump right in. Now, we know that you hail from Ruston, Louisiana, and you played at Ruston High School for the Ruston Bearcats, and you decided to stay local and stay in town and take your expertise to Louisiana Tech University. Now, we know that you can be on the practice field at Louisiana Tech and see Ruston High School and vice versa. Can you tell us a little bit about your transition from high school to Louisiana Tech?
Well, high school, kind of like when I left high school, I was still in high school because I used to walk across the track to go to high school and walk across the track to go to Louisiana Tech. So I didn't leave the area. I stayed around in the area, and I enjoyed staying around there. I had plenty of opportunity to leave, you know, but a lot of people say I was a mama boy. I like Ruston, and I like the scenery, and I like the camaraderie right here in this area. And I had a lot of friends still in right this area. And in the neighborhood that I came from, I had Fred Dean, and he played Tech, and I used to go there and watch Fred play, and it's just like
Fred was a bad man, wasn't he? Fred was a bad man, wasn't he?
Feel like I never left. When I went to Los Angeles and went to Oakland and played football, in another state, and I feel like, you know, I came back home and I never left the area. So everything feels just familiar with me around here. And that's why I'm comfortable, and I'm just enjoying life.
Fantastic. Well, listen, you and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about things that drove you, the way in which you were brought up, things your mother said to you, things your father said to you. And as we were talking about this title of the show, you said something very important to me that I had no knowledge of. Will you share that with us as to the whole thing about the being told not to take this particular action, and you injured yourself, and you wound up dealing with that injury, but you were still blessed to be able to do the things you've done. Will you share that with us, please?
Well, back in my younger days, I wouldn't say I wouldn't know. I did the ordinary thing that the kid would do, and some things that they would label as being disobedience. And as I got a little older, I realized that being disobedience, being disobeying your parents, and in that instant, and at my young age, my mother was going to the store. She said, "Johnny, my dad had bought me a motorcycle," and I was around 11, 12, 13 years old, and my mother says, "Johnny, there's ice out there on the ground, on that road." She said, "Don't you get on that motorcycle." I wait till she got the road and got out of sight. I jumped my butt on that motorcycle and went up the road, came back and hit a sheet of ice and hit a big pine tree. I think the biggest pine tree in North Louisiana. And I tore my right ankle up. Went to the doctor. She came home. She didn't scold me or nothing. All she wanted to do was get me to the doctor. So we went to the doctor, Dr. Green on the Green Clinic, and Dr. Green told him, he looked at it and he said, "Son," he came back, he got some good news and some bad news. He said, "Good news, you still alive. The bad news is you won't be able to do the ordinary thing that a kid would do as growing up." I said, "What?" He's like playing ball, playing, what kids do, I said, "Well, why not?" He said, your ankle's in bad shape. You got to take your time and try to heal it so you can be able to walk on it. So he put a cast on it, and that's something. I broke a cast. I reckon that doctor put about 5, 6 casts on my ankle. And every time I went to the doctor, he said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm playing kickball, playing." He said, "Son, did I tell you can't do that? You got to let this thing heal." I said, "Well, and that's part of my being disobedient right there. And I disobeyed my mother when I was at my young age, and my blessing came in. I played junior high school ball, college ball, played pro ball. My blessing came in, being disobedient to my mother when I was young. And my blessing came in. The last game I ever played in was a Super Bowl. And that was the last game I ever played a down. And it was a Super Bowl. That's when the blessing came in.
Before we get to the Super Bowl, let's talk a little bit about going to Louisiana Tech. Now, I know, because I followed your career closely when you were in high school, believe it or not, and when you transitioned to Louisiana Tech, you were blessed to get a lot of accolades in the Southland Conference. Can you tell us a little bit about those? I have your paperwork here, and I could talk about that, but we'd like to have our guests to be able to share information, because it's just, to me, it's just much more genuine when it comes from the person that actually did the work.
A lot of people don't like to hear, but I don't like to push it on a lot of people for being blessed. But I was blessed to play the game. And because, like I said, I tore my ankle up at my young age, and I really played my whole entire career on one leg. But a lot of people thought, "Oh, you play on one leg." But the things that I did, I played on one leg, got to balance myself on my left side and played, on my right, because the ankle was still, it hurt me my whole career. But when I went to Louisiana Tech, I had too much to want to leave. Like I said earlier, leave the state of Louisiana. I wanted to go to Tech. I really didn't go to Tech because of Fred, and I ain't gonna take nothing from Fred because we came from the same neighborhood. I went to Tech because I feel like a lot of the coaches over there knew me, but they didn't know the situation that I was going through for my injury, like I said earlier, being disobedient to my mother, and tore my ankle up. But I feel like going to Tech, they knew me. If I went to another major college, I could have went to any college almost. But I went to Tech, I know I wasn't gonna say they gonna ban me at Tech, but they was gonna give me the benefit of the doubt if I went to and told them, "Oh, my shoulder hurt, my leg hurt." I never directly told them that my ankle hurt, but I always had something nicking me, and they'll tell me, "Sit down and rest. Hey, get your rest, get your feet up under you. So, so you can be ready to go Saturday." No, hey. So that's one main reason I went to Louisiana Tech. My intention was going to Tech, but after that, I weighed my situation. As I go to another college, they don't know Johnny Robinson. Man, they gonna work me like a mutant. And if I tell them I'm here, they gonna put somebody else in there and say, "Sit your butt down and send me home." And Tech, I wouldn't say they baby me, but they treat me like an athlete.
Speaking of having the opportunity to play at home and to garner several Southern Conference honors. Will you share with us about the years that you garnered those Southern Conference honors and what position you were playing? I mean, most people may not know that you actually started as a defensive end. Then because you were so disruptive, you were moved to tackle because, you know, we all talk about doing the best for the team. And many of your listeners may not know, but I know that you were not particularly thrilled about having to move from defensive end to tackle, but you were still blessed to have garnered these massive honors in the Southern Conference. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, please?
Well, I played right in Ruston High School. The coach asked me, he said, what end you want to play? He said, you got options, you want to play right end or left end? I know if I play right end, I can position myself and balance myself for my bad ankle. So I mostly played the right end in the high school. When I got to Tech, the coach said, what position you want to play? I said, I want to play the right end. And I played the right end 2 years. And after 2 years, we had coaching changes. You know, went through 4 different head coaches over there. And my stint with was on Tech in my 4 years. And they moved me from the end. And I love playing in because I can stand up and I can handle myself and I can shoot and I can contain. And they moved me to tackle and I just didn't feel right playing tackle because I feel like I was more comfortable playing in. I played in high school and I played in college. And after 2 years, they gonna move me out to tackle just because they changed defense and coaching staff. And I was highly upset. But then again, I came home and told my daddy that, hey, Dad, I think I ran my course with losing a Tech. Why is that? I say, they moved me, Dad. They moved me down to tackle and I'm a end. He said, son, can you play end? Can you play tackle? Oh, yeah, I can play tackle. He said, well, go there and prove to him that you can play tackle. So that year, I went down there and played, and I led the team in tackles, 138 tackles. My first time playing defensive tackle at the university, and so that was all history there. And the next year, I made 103 tackles playing that tackle. So I was blessed, all the way around. And it wasn't like I didn't want to play tackle. I knew I could play tackle, but I feel like I was more comfortable playing in because of my situation. But life goes on, and I did what I had to do, and I'm still here.
Now listen, if my paperwork serves me correctly, you were drafted in the 4th round by the Raiders. Were you excited, or did you think you'd be drafted at all in the NFL, or did you just count it just a coincidence, or was it something you expected?
Really, I expected as I got a little, older. Fred came through and played pro ball, and I really didn't just hit me, Johnny. You gonna play pro ball? You gonna be out there? Oh man, there's 100,000 people in the stand. It never did just hit me like that. I played the game. Whatever. To me, I felt like whatever gonna fall in place, gonna fall in place. So it wasn't like I was out there just playing to go to the league. And my play that I played, if I was good enough to show the NFL that I was good enough to play, somebody's gonna come after me. And they worked me out. All 32 teams worked me out. And the Raiders was, I say I was fortunate. I ain't gonna say they were fortunate. I was fortunate to go to the Raiders because that's the only team I really wanted to play with. They were the Oakland Raiders. And so they drafted me and got that call. And I was at Louisiana Tech out in the dorm room. And I was sitting down minding my own business. The draft, it was over. So I got drafted 4th round. Fourth round. It was 428 that day. And it was what pick? I don't forgot what pick. But then again, I got the call. Lady from the Raiders organization, she called me. She said, Johnny Robinson. I said, how you doing? She said, you've been drafted by the Oakland Raiders. How you feel? I said, I feel great. I say, I always liked the Raiders organization. She said, well, she gave me all the details about the itinerary, said, tell me when I'm gonna be flying out. So I left Tech, walked down the railroad track. I would live between the railroad track between Tech and George Moore Quarter. That's why I was born and raised over in George Moore Quarter. That's where I'm at right now, sitting down in George Moore Quarter. And I walked over here and told my mama, my dad, he's out working, trying to make a living. And I told her, and she wasn't familiar with football when I was in junior high school, but she got to understand the play, the down, and what they do in a certain situation. Because she went to every one of my college games, every one of my high school games. So she, I don't know how excited she was, but she didn't know. Some parents jump up and down this, that. But she's like, all right, son, you do your best. I was like, all right. We had money here, so I'm going on back over Tech, and got some players over there, want to congratulate me. So I went on, walked back over Tech, and went to the Raiders camp, and everything almost brand new to me, but I didn't just like get overjoyed with it because I know it was a job. I got to go out here and prove my point that that I can play this game at another level. So I got there now. So in all 16 games my rookie year, and made all rookie. So I was in the house. So I had a short career, but it was a blessing career. And I wouldn't take nothing away from the year that I spent with the Raiders. Man, I just say everybody should just, I feel bad sometimes by some athletes that I play with that don't get that shot, that just get a glimpse of what the NFL is all about. Because, a lot of them want to, got, they got, too blown up, but, they need to get a taste about, all that hard work they put in college. Everybody should get a little taste about, at least 6 months, what the NFL is all about, and they can go on with their career and their life. Because, and they come to me and say, Johnny, how was it? I'm lost for words sometimes to tell them, oh man, ooh, man, this and that, man. And because if I start telling that, that'll be a story. And I want to tell them the truth. I want to tell the trade, man. And then they won't think I'm being conceited by telling them the truth. Hey, it's a job. It's a job for me. Every day I went, it was a job. I had to clock in, I had to clock out, I had to work. They give you nothing in the NFL. Everything you get in the NFL, you own it. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the years I played, and trying to still enjoy my last year I got left in this old battle of Johnny Robinson. I had
Johnny, you know what?
I got one left, and I'm trying to take it easy with it. I'm trying to get it all and lose down.
You know what, Johnny? Speaking of enjoying your life and continuing to enjoy where you are now, let's allow me, please, to backtrack a little bit. I see that there are a lot of plaques and accolades on your wall, and as I shared with you prior to us speaking, I was a little surprised, quite frankly, being a Louisiana Tech Bulldog myself, wondering. I just assumed that you were already in our Hall of Fame at Louisiana Tech. Has anyone ever discussed that with you, or anyone ever talked with you about it, or even seek to see if you were interested in being a Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame?
Well, it'll be a lovely honor, but I don't lose no sleep over it. And somebody whistled in my ear the other day, and they just told me this in China. And started talking about the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, and he gave me a little secret code and whispered my ear. He said, don't tell nobody. I said, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody this secret code I'm telling you. He's because it's going to be all right. He's called, when the Lord step in, they got to step in. They got
okay,
to step in.
I certainly understand that.
I ain't losing no sleep. Hey, Chief, I ain't lose no sleep on no wars that I know are well deserved.
Absolutely.
Position that I ain't losing no sleep. When I lay my head down and rest, I don't have no regrets. Hey, if I go in a grocery store and somebody behind me, I want to open that door for them. I don't want to get in there and think about it when I get home and say, man, I should have hit that door open. Hey, I humble myself down. I ain't say age will humble you down. Life experience will humble you down. And I'm a humble guy right now. A lot of people, that's why I say a lot of people don't know Johnny Robinson. They know the old Johnny Robinson.
Absolutely.
And I live my life to live my life. And a lot of people don't understand that. But I live I live my life on somebody else, what they would do, what I live my life the way Johnny Robinson should live his life, and I feel like, might have some regrets here and there, but then again, I can't lose no sleep behind. I got to keep on keeping on. Ain't nobody gonna cry about what Johnny Robinson done or how Johnny Robinson did it, and they might show some kind of feeling, and but hey, people, hey, I love them all. If they say something bad about it, I say something good about it. Hey, it's all up to them. Hey, 9 times out of 10, hey, somebody gonna say something good, somebody gonna say something bad. So that's life.
Johnny, perfect segue to our guest. Now, we have several guests joining us, and I would like to afford them the opportunity, if they would like to unmute, if they have a question or a comment or a compliment to Johnny, our guest here, please feel free. As I see several of you here, Mario and Sierra, and guys, if you have a question for Johnny or a compliment or a comment, question, feel free to unmute and ask it.
Oh, it's free. Ask me anything. But don't ask me how my dog feels. Ask me anything, but how my dog feels. Oh, he'll make me think he's feeling bad just a good bone.
Hello there. Hello there, Mr. Robinson.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm just curious about your experience in the Super Bowl, on the sideline there, specifically watching Marcus Robinson make that run, or Marcus Allen make that run, excuse me, Marcus Allen when he made that reverse and made the touchdown. I was curious what your experience was watching that specifically, and just the experience of being there and playing in the Super Bowl in general.
Well, it was my first Super Bowl, so everything was new to me. So standing on the sideline, watching Marcus make that run, and I was in on that punt block. If Derek Jensen wanted to got the punt block, I would have got it, because if the guy would have hit me, Derek Jensen would have been open. If it had hit Derek Jensen, I would have been open. So it could have went either way, but I'm glad we got the punt block. And after Marcus Allen made that run, I'm on the sideline. I wish I was out there counting my money to see what side my rain finger, but I feel like we were on our way to do what we came there to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and I've got my not like yours, but
yeah, I got one.
You got a real one. Mine's not real.
It's somewhere around, but I got one. It looks just like that.
Yeah, this one's not real though. This one is a replica, but yours is real, and
it's real to you, man. It's real to you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
As long as it's real to you.
Thank you.
All right, more than welcome.
Okay, guys, anybody else, jump right in. Listen, this is a show, if you guys have never joined me before, we'd like our guests to interact with our special guest, and tonight is Mr. Johnny Robinson. So guys, jump right in. Have any questions or multiple questions? We're not going to keep Mr. Robinson all night, but we don't want you guys to be shy. So feel free to unmute yourselves. And again, ask a question, share a comment, whatever you're comfortable doing, and we'll move forward.
Hi, this is Chanel, and I just want to just say that I'm honored to be on your show while you're interviewing Mr. Robinson, because he should be on LA Tech Hall of Fame. But my question to you, Mr. Melvin, is can you help Mr. Robinson get the word out so that he can be on the Hall of Fame?
Yes, ma'am. You have athletes many times that do the things that Mr. Robinson has been blessed to do. When you have athletes that are as humble as Mr. Robinson, when you have athletes that have been true to assisting in improving the college game overall, not only on their campus, it's to me, it's a no-brainer that the university itself should be the first in line to contact that individual and to have them as a part of the Hall of Fame. Yes, I am going on record to say I will be one of the first in line to lobby for this young man to be a part of the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame. Not only that, the NCAA Hall of Fame as well. You have players that are in the College Hall of Fames now that have not amassed the kind of accolades that Johnny has amassed, but yet they can say they're in the Louisiana Hall of Fame, they can say they're in the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, and they can say that they're in the NCAA Hall of Fame. So I'm so happy that you've asked that question, because we want to go on record. Not only should Johnny be in the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, he should also be in the Louisiana Hall of Fame, and he should also be in the NCAA Hall of Fame as well.
That's perfect. That's beautiful. Thank you so very much for doing this and allowing us to be a part of it. I really appreciate you.
And we appreciate you, Chanel, because it's fans and people like you, and others that have to understand that when an athlete, and obviously you guys do, when an athlete goes out there and sacrifices and puts his body on, and we're talking football now. I'm not ignoring the women. I know women's sports are great. We have a lot of great women athletes, but right now we happen to be talking about football, particularly. I know there's a lingerie league and all of that, so I don't want to disrespect anybody. But right now, we're just talking about the hard heads. And there's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of physicality that goes with it, a lot of study and that kind of thing. And as he's already said, I mean, how many players do we know that can play virtually on one leg? Can't play on two legs, let alone one leg. So he certainly is worthy. And allow me to repeat again, not only should he be in the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, he should also be in the Louisiana Hall of Fame, and he should also be in the NCAA Hall of Fame. And we're just appreciative of you for recognizing that and to help move this process forward.
Well, you have my support, and anything you need, please put me in, because I would like to be a part of, making this happen. I would love to see that. And I know many of his fans will love to see the same thing too.
Fantastic. Now I saw a hand up, so please go ahead. Whoever hand is up, please join us.
Okay, so yeah, I've raised my hand. I'm Jonathan. I'm the father of Johnny Robinson. And I'm just blessed to have a father that has this story to share.
You have the father?
This father. I'm blessed to have this father.
Just messing with you.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have this father to share all these cool stories with. And but one thing I wanted to share here, where I thought is very, very cool of my father, is that he when we talk about the Hall of Fame, when he was drafted in the same draft class as a Hall of Fame player on the same team as him. The player's name was Howie Long. I think most sports fans know who Howie Long is. They've seen him on TV.
Absolutely.
But, and he had a long career. But my father played in front of him for a number of years. Stop that. My father played in front of him for a number of years, and he was a Hall of Fame caliber type of player. So I believe if my father did truly play on two good legs, or if his career was much longer, that he'd be right there in the talks with the Fred Deans and the Howie Longs and all the great players that wear that gold jacket. So I just looking at the numbers, I just believe my father is well deserving. He's definitely in the conversations about being in Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, Louisiana as a state Hall of Fame for sports as well. We go that far because numbers don't lie.
And don't forget the NCAA Hall of Fame. He definitely deserves to be in that as well.
So so it's many athletes out there that need recognition, but we talking about Johnny Dean Robinson right now, and I feel like he has a case. He has a case, and I just want him to be able to enjoy it. While he's still here.
Absolutely. And as you share that, gentlemen, let me share with our guests is the way you help this cause is you send letters to Louisiana Tech University, to the athletic department, and suggest that Johnny Robinson be a part of the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame, and you do the same with Louisiana Hall of Fame, and you do the same with the NCAA Hall of Fame. And people have many times you have people lobbying, and that's what you guys can do to assist. you have to lobby and you have to put people on the radar. Then it get those that are making decisions. Now they have to go and they have to do their research. And they go, wow, okay, well, this guy really is deserving. And same as the NFL. So the process starts many times, not that the voters do not feel that an athlete may not be worthy. It's kind of like the old saying, out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And that's what I'm sharing with you guys. I'm certainly going to be sending my letters to recommend Johnny Dean Robinson's name be included in that process so they can get the ball rolling. Hey, Brother Robinson, let me ask this. Now, you and I, and people may not know our history, not only we go way back, you even felt so sorry for me when I was struggling as a head coach at Arcadia. You came to help me out and give my boys tips. I need the world to know how important that was to me, how important that was to the players, and how much we appreciated your presence, how much we appreciated your assistance, how much we appreciated your unselfish willingness to come and to assist us and to give us some help and to give back to those young men. So the world needs to know that not only were you blessed to be a magnificent athlete, you are a humble and a great human being as well. And they need to know that you are a great humanitarian. So I would be very, 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 very remiss if I did not share that with the world, because you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. Unfortunately, there was no pay involved. I wish we'd had some money to pay you, but there was no pay involved, but you just gave of yourself, and we really do appreciate that. So let me share that. And to our Raider fan, Mr. Mario, see, Johnny never knew this because we never talked about it. And that's why I started off my commentary at the beginning about being one of those guys that the label is free agent to everybody, but everybody's not a free agent. Excuse me. Having been in the Raiders camp doing some preseasons, one preseason actually, after having to go to, they sent us to Atlanta to some kind of little combine and all that kind of stuff before you could come up. And I never got to see him play. I'm older than Johnny, but I've always been a Raider fan. So Mario, you and I are on the same wagon with Johnny, man. I always loved that silver and black. As a matter of fact, when they turned the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Raiders on, talking about that immaculate reception, I want to turn my TV off. So I've been a Raider fan that long, and it's a pleasure to have you. I want to say to Miss Chanel, it's certainly a pleasure to have her, and obviously Mr. Jonathan, it's a pleasure to have you here. Brother Robinson, would you like to leave us with a few words of wisdom? Anything you'd like to leave us with before we let you go and finish enjoying your grandson? And what's his name?
We call him Junior. He's named after his dad. Yeah, Junior.
So Sierra and Chanel, Sierra and Mario, if you guys have any parting words, please share with us at this time.
I just want to say it was an honor to meet you, Mr. Robinson, and I hope everything goes well with you. And it's always a pleasure working with Chanel, and I've heard about you and their kids, obviously, their family. So it was a pleasure to meet you.
It's more than a pleasure, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys, and y'all try to have y'all have a nice day. Anything else you want to come on again, you're free to come back. I love my guests.
What was it like playing on the same line as Lyle Alzado?
Was in there?
Mr. Lyle Alzado, what was it like playing with him? Was he crazy in real life? Or?
It's like picking at a gorilla in a cage. Pick at him, you can't get out. But he was athlete. Him, Matusak, oh man, I'm talking about the guys that when I first went in, man, and they was athletes, man, and they taught me a lot. And I was later, man, Lord Vicious, so he was a good guy. He was awesome. A good guy. Yeah. Well, all the guys I played with, and when drafted the 81 year, all the guys, we was just like family. That's why I
That was
said I was blessed to get drafted by the Raiders.
that was a special bunch that you guys had in '83.
And I would have been happy with them than the Raiders.
Thank you.
All right.
Fantastic. So, Mr. Johnny Robinson, it's been great having you here, my brother. And we will get together and do this again. We want to assure you that you are more than deserving to be in Louisiana Tech's Hall of Fame, Louisiana Hall of Fame, NCAA Hall of Fame. And as your son so eloquently stated, anytime you have the great players playing behind you and you playing for the Raiders, all of us know whether we were physically on, I happen to be one of those, but I'm talking about our guest, whether you were physically on that field or not, you know, you have to be a special kind of player to actually not only make the team, but to be a starter and to make a difference. And you obviously have done all three. So again, my brother, we want to salute you. Let me, as a former Bulldog, salute you as well, and to tell you that we're happy that you were here. We're happy that you were kind enough to be our guest. And don't worry about Junior. And we know Junior just running around being a kid. And anybody that have a problem with a kid being a kid, is something wrong with them.
Yeah.
So listen, it's been great, my brother. Have a great night, and want you guys to be blessed.
Bye. It was a pleasure.
And I want to thank your guests. And we can always do it again.
And together, this has been the Nobody Asked Me Guys show, guys. Join us most Friday nights, 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have coming up, quite frankly, you have the International African American Museum with our guest, Ms. F. Matthews, who is the curator of that. We will have with us Captain Matthew, who's of the International Buffalo Soldiers. So we have quite a few guests. Can we have Mr. Foote? If you're not familiar with Mr. Foote, he's an ambassador basically between Ghana, Africa, and the United States. So we have lots of guests coming, guys. We do multiple guests. We do entertainers, we do athletes, we do politicians, etc. We just have a multiplicity of shows. So we will send out a link when this is ready to go on YouTube once it's finished being edited, and you're more than welcome to share. We ask that you go to the Nobody Asked Me Guys show and to subscribe to our channel, as well as have your friends to subscribe to this channel. So again, I'm Melvin Casey Lars, your host, and we bid you all a good night.